Hola from the west side. It is me, DC the Purple Diva. Welcome to Not So Random Chat. Hey, Darren. How are ya? Happy Tuesday, y'all. So, the debate's tomorrow. But thank you, 45, for giving me something to talk about. But before I get into it, let me just go ahead and share my stream out. Make sure let's see, I gotta make sure I'm in the right channel. Because I have been running my stream on my second channel. So, gotta make sure I'm in the right channel. Okay, so now I'm in the right channel. Telling you, gotta make sure I'm looking at my channel through my Facebook, through the right channel, not through my backup channel, because there's nothing on there. Yeah, we get it together. Okay, so now I'm creating a post. Yeah, my backup channel has one subscriber, me. Okay, so it's never going to have a community tab. All right, so here we go. Let's see. Come on through and let's chat. All right, so I don't think so, because I don't think no one's subbed to my other channel. And my other channel's not even my government name. It's 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 still DC, but it has my last name on it. If you're looking hard enough, you can find it. I don't have any content on it though. Yeah, there's no content on it. Maybe one day, but not yet. So you guys, so y'all, if you caught my little afternoon rant, um, 45, I guess, decided not to sign off on the stimulus package. But later on, what I understand is that he is willing to maybe sign off on $1,200 to Americans, maybe, but any real stimulus package, he's putting off until after the election because, I think he is under he is looking at the polls, and he doesn't think giving another stimulus package is going to help him. Well, it probably won't because, most of us, you can't bribe people. You can't bribe Americans at this point. You know, it's 30 days before the election, and most of us have pretty much made up our minds as to which way we're going to go. Um, Especially after last week's fiasco. You know, I'm very interested to see what's going to happen tomorrow in the vice presidential debate. What I understand is that they are going to be 12 feet apart. And that Kamala Harris is going to put up a partition, around her so that, she's protecting herself. I don't blame her. But my concern is that Mike Pence didn't want any of this. But you, sir, although you are testing negative, have been around 45 who is positive. And we found out today that they have been using that rapid COVID test, which can sometimes give false negatives. I'll let that marinate. Hey, Tutu Thing Thing. So, here's what I say in regards to the stimulus. Personally, I think that he should go ahead and give that at least that $1,200 to all Americans, because by doing that, he's going to help out his own constituency. He is hurting his own constituency because, believe me, a lot of his constituency are out of work or making less money than they were making before. It is taking a substantial amount of time for businesses to open back up. And we are still faced with another, with the flu season coming up, along with people having corona. So I think that he should do it. Because they can. And because it's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do regardless of whether you think you're going to win. You can do that, 45, at the same time that you are also trying to shove this justice down our throats. You can do both of these things. This is my thoughts. Things are not, it's never going to, things are going to open back up, but it's never going to open back up the way it was before. It's going to be a new normal. I don't think that 100% capacity is going to ever be what it was before. At least, I won't say ever. I'll say for the next few years. Because it's going to take a few years for us to really get through this corona. No matter who the president is. Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right, Darren. Because, like, I feel that one of the reasons why he did not want to do the stimulus package as it was packaged was because the Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, the aunt of the governor of California, wanted to add into their assistance for governors in some of the highest hit states with COVID. The problem is that most of those states are Democrat, ran, or the governor's Democrat. And so he didn't want that in there. And that's why he doesn't want to do it. So that's the issue. So he wants to make governors like Governor Newsom, the governor of New York, some of these other states that are primarily Democratic. But see, some of the hardest hit states are not democratically led states. So you're messing with them too. You see what I'm saying? So this is the whole thing around this little stimulus thing. the Democrats and the Republicans are playing political, wars right now. And this is BS around that, because there are so many people who still don't have no damn job. There's so many people, and a lot of these people, they're not in a position to reinvent themselves. Because we're not talking about just younger Americans. We're talking about people who, who have been doing whatever they were doing for 10, 15, 20 years. Especially if they were in something like the hospitality industry. Bars, restaurants, and hotels, and all of that. Cruises. These people are hurting. Now, maybe not the actual owners of these facilities, but definitely the employees. I'm just saying. I mean, things are starting to open back up. But, at some point, I just wish that it wasn't all political ploys in regards to this stuff. So now, of course, the stock market, which had kind of boosted up yesterday, because first the president got out of the hospital, and then there was talks about this second stimulus package. So they rallied. Today, everything plummeted again. Because, and here's the thing, the financial advisors are telling the president, they are telling this man that if they don't do this, it's potential of putting us into another recession. So what that's telling me is that he figures if he doesn't win, he'll just push that off on the next man. That's crap. That's crap. Hey, Matt. So I personally hope that he rethinks it, because I really think that it would, at least the $1,200. I know that's not a whole bunch of money, but for some people who no longer are getting their unemployment because it's run out, or not getting that extra money that the federal government had in there before, this would help them out a whole lot, because next month is Thanksgiving, and the month after that is Christmas and Hanukkah, and we are then into 2021. Thank you, Lord. I'm so serious, y'all. 2020 is like the year from hell. And I mean, I know those of us who, who are spiritual and, believe in the last days, believe that we're living in the last days. Okay. But we also know that the last days metaphorically could go on for hundreds of years. But the way that it's feeling right now, it's feeling like it's not going to be hundreds of years. It feels like God is trying to tell us something right now. I want to sing that song, y'all, so bad right now, but I haven't warmed up my voice, and so I don't know how it's going to sound. So I'm not going to do that. Sorry, put it off on me from actually being a singer, that I don't sound crazy. But, God is trying to tell us something right now. Hey, Elise. Thank you for passing through, Soror. Oh, I just remembered, y'all, when she just walked through here. I just remembered. I have to RSVP for for an induction into Delta. I told you guys a couple of weeks ago that they had to reactivate the chapter on my campus. Matter of fact, I have to get whatever I'm going to get to my SANS this week, because everyone had graduated, and so there are going to be 3 sorors on USC's campus, and it's very important. Let me just go off on this Greek rant for 1 minute. It's very important because USC, University of Southern California, has one of the single letter chapters on the West Coast, which means it's an old chapter. We had a chapter at USC before many of the HBCUs, but you didn't hear me. We had a chapter before some of the HBCUs had a chapter. Yes, Upsilon. So they're going to do. I have to the RSVP because they're going to do the initiation of them into the sisterhood. Yep, they're doing all of these chapters. Soror, they're doing all of these undergrad chapters, and I think in whatever graduate chapters they're doing it. They're doing it like a massive Zoom. They're doing like massive Zooms for Southern California. It's a bunch of chapters. Yeah, but so I'm gonna. I was invited, so I want to go because it's important to me. I was on one of the longest lines in that chapter's history. We weren't the longest line, but we were the second longest line. There was one line my line was 14. I was number 14. And there was a line before me in the 70s that had 17. And those are long lines for the West Coast. What? And for PWIs. Normally PWIs don't have big lines like that. 4 or 5, really. But my line was 14. 14 of us. And I was supposed to pledge the year before. But God knew I shouldn't have pledged the year before. Yeah. But the line, I was on the right line for me. I know, but that's why I'm saying that. SC is I think the only chapter of Delta on the West Coast that has had a long, like a big line. Now, graduate chapters have huge lines. Okay, huge lines. Okay. Nowadays, and it's mainly because people are not. They're not pledging like a couple people. They're waiting. They're doing it. They're not doing it every year. Because let's just say an undergrad, they have to do it every year. To keep the chapters going. And graduate chapters, they don't have to do that. So when they do a line, they generally bring a bunch of sorors in. And I mean, I'm sure it's the same, in the graduate chapters, for the men. But I'm getting ready. My SANS, 2 of my SANS are in Inglewood alumni, so I'm going to get back active in Inglewood alumni. Previously, I was part of Pasadena alumni, and I was part of Pasadena alumni, and I know Elise will know this. I was part of Pasadena alumni before there was a foothill. I'll just say that. I was there when the split happened, and I was a young soror when that split happened. So my eyes were open to graduate chapter when that stuff happened. That's all I'll say. Yeah, Inglewood is a younger chapter. I know that when it started, it's it really started with younger sorors because they didn't want to be bothered with the old sorors in Century City and LA alum. I understand, you know, but by the time they were opening up these younger chapters and everything, you know, I was starting to get to the older side, and I didn't really want to deal with 20 somethings. I didn't have the patience no more. But it's different now. Now it's just, I just want to get back in there so I can get my Delta Deer because I'm ready for it to come. Couple more years, y'all. Couple more years for me. God, you guys know, and I think I'm gonna be a Delta Deer in 2 more freaking years. Cause it's when you're 60. And I'm almost 58, y'all, so. Yeah, well, when I was a young soror in grad chapter, Elise, we actually brought in some young sorors into the chapter. They were really happy, that but that's because I was in Pasadena, and so we brought in some young sorors into that particular chapter. I mean, they brought in, and a couple of them were legacies. It, and they just didn't pledge undergrad. It was, they basically went through undergrad. 2 of them had gone to USC and did not pledge at SC, and they were both legacies. But what they did is they went to grad school, and then they came and pledged a grad chapter. So they came in with graduate degrees. So they didn't have, so I mean, and one of them is now one of them who I made there in Pasadena alumni was the first lady of Maranatha, Sora Salambra Ingrams. I made her. And then another one is is um is on SC's campus dealing with the career development, and she has a PhD, and I made her too. But both of them, came through graduate chapters. Yeah, yeah. Salambra was the second wife to Pastor Ingram. After his first wife Marguerite died, he remarried. Hey Terry, he remarried, and he remarried Asora. He remarried Salambra, and Salambra was actually a member of the church. Prior to that, she was Tony Braxton's personal assistant in another life. But yeah. And the thing is that with Salambra went to Spelman, but they didn't want her. They didn't want her. She had outstanding letters, they were haters. Because Sora AJ gave her a recommendation at Spelman. Another Sora that came through Spelman gave her a recommendation. And so she waited until after grad school, and then she came in through Pasadena Alumni. And we were blessed to have her, you know? And it was while she was in Pasadena Alumni that she became the personal assistant to Tony Braxton. And then when she came back, she went back to Maranatha, and next thing I know, she got married, had a couple twin sons with Pastor Ingram's. He passed a couple of years ago. I'm just trying to tell you. I'm trying to think. I don't know if Janetta was actually, I don't know if she was the president at the time that Salambra was in school there. Because this was back in the 90s. Like the early 90s. This was back in the early 90s, yeah. Because it was before my son was born. So I don't know if she was president. I think this might have been right before she became the president there. Yeah, I love Keisha. She's such a sweetheart. You know, very very. I think she's very very sweet girl. I know she's has some love life drama. You know, that somehow had her in that Real Housewives of Atlanta circle, but you know she's moved on. She's good. Um, Now she knows why Lisa Wu had left this man. You know, that's all. Lisa Wu had left him, and then Lisa, before she was with this man, who is also Keith Sora's baby daddy, she was with Keith Sweat. Lisa Wu had several children by Keith Sweat. She married. I can't even remember dude's name. Chocolate Brother, ex-football player. Then she married that dude. I think he ended up going broke and everything, and not really good with money. And then he hooked up with Keisha, and tried to deny that wasn't his baby. Was his baby? Tried to say she set him up. All kinds of crazy stuff. Hey, I am Superman. Yeah, I believe that you guys. I don't want to get all morbid and everything, but you know, you guys know that this isn't like the only signs that are going on around the world. It's not just this plague that seems to go on and on and on and on. I mean, we're having floods. We've had you know other things going on. I think that everything that is happening is God trying to tell us something. For those of us who believe, it's a wake up call. You know, and also we as a race of beings have been acted really awful to this planet. You know, we just take. And some of it may be natural selection. Some of it may be man helping out the natural selection. Survival of the fittest. Earth has been tired of us, Matt. Earth is tired of us. God is tired of us. I with all the with all of the stuff of us social distancing and mainly staying in our homes and whatnot. I know a lot of us have been Netflixing, a lot of doing a lot of Netflixing. And I'm telling you, some of the stuff that they have on Netflix, like with the aliens on Earth, just cracks me up because they would rather believe that some alien beings came down to this planet to build those pyramids in Egypt rather than those black people or people of color on the continent had the wherewithal to do it. You know, anything that happened in ancient times to any ancient civilization, they're deciding that some ancient being did it. They're even deciding that we have alien DNA in our DNA and that aliens helped to create who we are. I'm telling you guys, they have some crazy stuff on streaming right now on Netflix. And I'm not saying that I don't believe that there is life on other planets. You know, I think that it would be arrogant for us to believe that the Most High did not create life on other planets. But I'm also saying that I don't believe that we were made from, you know, aliens. I don't. Oh, yeah, The Happening. Yeah, that one's a good one. That's a good one. You know, but me, hey, if people start disappearing, you know, and I don't, I'll be concerned. You know what I mean? You know, people start disappearing, planes fall out of the sky because the pilots leave, that kind of stuff. If that kind of stuff happens and I'm still here, I will be extremely concerned at that point. But we as a species, yeah, we take from the planet. We don't love the planet, you know. And I mean, at this particular point, we're doing things to play God. We are doing things to play God. That's what we're doing. We're playing God. We're playing God. I mean, think about it. We're figuring out ways to engineer our own DNA. We've we've already realized that we don't even know half of what our human DNA is. We only know a fraction. Just like we don't know what our entire brain is supposed to do. Because for whatever reason, we're not utilizing the entire thing. We're not utilizing it. It would be scary if at some point we learned how to utilize our entire brains. But meanwhile, it's easier for people to think that aliens help to do stuff. No, maybe men thousands of years ago were using more of their brain. You know? Maybe we were more in touch with the Most High and we could actually hear from him, literally. I'm just saying. I don't do the alien theory. Look, I am not dispelling that there is life on other planets, or that such life may have come to this planet. We all know about Area 51. But what I'm saying is that life from some other planet did not create those pyramids, did not create, all of the, monuments that you see on places like Easter Island. Human beings did. We did. Ancient men did. Because they were far more advanced than we modern men would like to think. We have it stuck in our heads that we're smarter than ancient men. What if it's the reverse? What if we're now stupider? I'm just saying, what if we dumb down and we're just now discovering things that they discovered thousands of years ago? Exactly, Matt. We're not aliens. Now I know all these, myths about, these talk about hybrid races and other races and all of that stuff. Okay, here's what I'm going to give you. I do believe that there were actually two species of man. That part I do. Because Europeans can't explain away Neanderthal being in their DNA and not being in people who do not have European blood in them DNA. Now, of course, unfortunately, for most of us in the ADOS, our blood has been contaminated with that. But it's also my theory, and this is just my theory, that that's where the RH factor came within us. Because I believe that there are more people who don't have RH than do. I mean, I told you guys when I was a kid, they mistyped my blood type. I mean, they got it correct, but they said I had RH in my blood, and I did not. And I'll just tell you that, if physicians and in the hospitals didn't always check people's blood before they gave them blood, that would be a problem for someone like me who is RH negative. RH blood can kill me. Period. They don't mix. Hence, I'm going to give you guys a sign. Hence the ROGAM that they give to all mothers, especially if they know you're RH negative, like me. So that our bodies don't, push out our babies that have a quote unquote alien blood type to us. But yeah, I do believe that man in Africa is not the same man that was in the caves in Europe. Because we know that they found the Neanderthal man in Europe. We also know that the Neanderthal man, I don't believe that those were as old as, that woman that they found in Africa that everybody comes from, supposedly. So, I don't know, somewhere the two species made it. But that's the reason why you guys don't see those Geico commercials anymore. Remember the Geico commercials with the Neanderthal man? They don't do those Geico commercials anymore because, see, they thought that we came from Neanderthal man, but that's not the case. Neanderthal man came from Europe. What we know as Europe, you know, and we're Soviet Union, all that stuff. Yeah. So there you have it. And that makes perfect sense to me. So it's like, if you think about it, melanated people stay melanated. They don't stop being melanated. Over thousands of years, they stay melanated. Because it's the dominant. Melanation is the domination, is dominant. That's why by 2050, the majority of the world will be melanated. The majority of the children in the world will be melanated. Let me just say it that way. The majority of the children in the world in less than 30 years will be melanated, despite COVID-19. Despite COVID-19, because you guys think about it. I mean, seriously, think about it. This country has pretty much the highest amount of COVID cases in the world. And I believe we probably have the highest amount of deaths. Amazingly, when China is way bigger than us. But if you think about the continent of Africa, although we sometimes think of it as third world, they haven't had as many cases. They haven't had as many cases of COVID. It hasn't ravaged the continent. So you know what that means? That means that by the year 2050, the majority of the children on this planet will be on the continent of Africa, or Alkebulan, if you want to go by the real name of the continent. Therefore, the majority of the children will be melanated on this planet in less than 30 years from now. The real name is Alkebulan. Alkebulan. I think it's A-K. I can't spell it right now, but it's Alkebulan. Google Google the original name of Africa, and it comes up. It starts with an A. But yeah, that was the original name. Europeans changed the name of the continent. They changed the name of every country. Yeah, all of that. I mean, if you think about it, Europeans have pretty much named have pretty much claimed everything across the world, except for Asia. And they tried during the Crusades. They tried. But they have colonized every place else. And therefore, they've taken the liberty of naming everything. Just saying. You know, I am thankful for the 1 year that I went to the HBCU because I took African studies classes there. Got an A in them too, by the way. And that was the last time that I was in a school that was teaching any type of Black history. Thankfully for me, growing up in DC, I got a lot of that firsthand, you know. But when I went to college, I got it, my freshman year. And then after that, they had African studies classes at SC, but I wasn't going to those classes. I couldn't even take the stuff seriously back there then in the 80s. I think now African studies and all of that stuff, when they do it, it's not really what I'm thinking about, because I'm talking about African history. And that's learning about the continent. And there's not a whole lot of curriculum for that on this continent, in this country. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And that was at Hampton. Shouts out to Hampton University, formerly Hampton Institute, because it was Hampton Institute when I was there. It was HI when I was there. Now it is the other HU. But yeah, shouts out to that campus, because they had a really good African studies program. Yep, Hampton, Virginia. Right across from Newport News. Yep. And I was there for 1 year. And the only reason that I went 1 year to the HBCU is because my parents would not let me go to USC when I got out of high school. They didn't want me to go that far away from home. They were concerned. So I went to Hampton and I reapplied. And I got back in. And my parents had promised me if I did good at Hampton and I reapplied, I could go. So guess what? I was on the honor roll at Hampton as a freshman and transferred. But here's the thing. If I had to do it all over again, and this is all honesty, you guys, I would have stayed at Hampton. And I would have come to California when I got out of school. Because the Black experience when I came to LA, I wasn't ready for it, because Black people here were just completely different from what I was used to. Completely different from what I was used to. I mean, and it took me a minute to find some real people in this place. Okay? I know a lot of people, but I'm friends with only a few. That kind of thing. Like the difference between a Delta and a soror. That much. But yeah, my culture shock was with the Black people when I came to California, when I came to Los Angeles specifically. Because see, I'm coming from DC. And at the time I came to California, DC, man, they were shooting folk on purpose. Any drive-bys that were happening in my hometown, and I will say still to this day, Nothing's random. They don't do random shootings in DC. It's always on purpose. If they shot somebody's kid, they meant to shoot that kid. It was not an accident. It was a message to somebody else. That's the way that they rolled. So this is where I was coming from to LA. And when I came to LA, being black was like, and being into your heritage was a fad. It was just a fad here, you know. People more interested in the fact that my dad was a doctor. I'm like, so I don't have his money. What difference does that make? I don't have his money. I don't drive his cars. I mean, but you know, this is when I was in school. Because you know, when you're in school, people base you off of what your parents do. Let me see what she's saying. Yeah, but so like when I came here and I went to college, this was a completely different LA. Let me just say that. LA was different. When I came to LA, crack had already hit the East Coast. Let me just say. It was alive and well on the East Coast. It was it it was hitting Cali as I was coming. As I was coming in, it was hitting. You know, the battle rams, all of that stuff, you know, I mean, y'all didn't really have no rap. I mean, NWA did not exist yet. So, you know, music was music was behind the times on the West Coast. Everything, you know, it was just different here. And now Cali is just not the same. I mean, I would love to be someplace else. I like the weather, but I would love to be someplace else. However, y'all know, for people who have autism, there are a lot of services and things that are better here. But yeah, I would love to be. Yeah, I mean, I'm never gonna not be from DC. I'm never gonna stop being who I am. You know, It is what it is. You know, but you know, I try not to let that person come out. She's not so nice. She likes to fight a lot. As a matter of fact, you know that she used to fight a lot. Fight a lot. Yeah. You know, but I keep my wars for my son. You know, I keep my fighting for him these days. I keep my fighting for him. You know, but if if I could take the weather in Cali and and take it to home and take it to home and have the people from home, I'll be I would be straight. I would be straight. You know, but I mean, I have friends. Don't get me wrong. I have friends in California, but my best friends still live still live in DC because see, DC is not one of those places that people grow up and run away from. Most of the people that I grew up with still live there. They have never left. Yeah, I mean, maybe as when I become this famous author that I'm going to be, telling y'all, this author and, you know, actress, because y'all know I'm doing some acting, but really the author, that's what I'm focusing on. And I don't have to work for, I don't have to work for someone else, and I'm just working for myself and just doing my creative stuff. I want to be bi-coastal. I want, me and my sister have talked about us buying a piece of property back home just so we have a piece of property there. Even if we don't live in it, we just want to have property where we're from. So that's the thing that we're thinking about. So, I mean, I'm thinking about buying again next year. So, but maybe I'll buy something back home and not buy something in California. Maybe I'll, buy something back home and call it a second home, so that I have a place to go when I go home. Oh yeah, my cousins, I still have cousins back there. I mean, but my family, my mom's family and my family is from New Orleans, but my parents moved to DC, so I'm from DC. you know, but my but like all my cousins, like most of my first cousins are are in the South. A lot of them are no longer in Louisiana. My first cousins, because after Katrina ran them out of New Orleans. So a lot of my first cousins are in Texas, but I got a lot of other cousins that live out in the bayou in Louisiana, because like the town of Letcher, what's the other town? It's another town, but like almost everybody in the town of Letcher is related to me. My mama's family, and there's like a couple of other places that are in out there, like almost the entire town are related to me. So yeah, my mama's family runs deep. My mama's daddy's family is interesting, you know, but yeah, that side of the family runs deep too. But that side of the family runs back to the Caribbean. So I'll just leave it at that. My mom's family goes to France, and then they got Native American, and then my mom's father's family comes from the French Caribbean. And then my dad's family, well, we somehow we are Cuban. No one will explain exactly how we got here from Cuba, though. Let me just say that part. All I know is that until Cuba closed, like right before I was born, my dad and his brother would go to Cuba to visit with their dad to visit their relatives all the time. And then when Cuba reopened, my dad went to go see relatives. So, you know, I figure whatever's going on, I don't know, maybe I guess our family is communist in Cuba, because they all have to be communists or Marxists or whatever it is in Cuba. So it's some big freaking secret, but not secret enough to not know that we're from there. That our roots are from there. you know. Gramercy too, girl. Yep, yep. Family in Gramercy too. Yep. My grandmother's. I got family in Baton Rouge too. I do. Some other place called Roseville. I have a bunch of cousins out there. in the boonies. They grew up in all in the town of Letcher. Yeah, that's a lot of my family. Yeah, from what I understand, back in the day, my family ran that town. But I don't live in Louisiana, so it doesn't do nothing for me, you know. But like on my dad's side of the family, his mom is a Chase, or his mom was a Chase. So I'm related to the people that own that restaurant in New Orleans, Dookie Chase. Related to them too. The only, yeah, in the Caribbean. Yeah, but the thing, yeah, because you have a lot of people from the Caribbean that are in NOLA. You do. I mean, I saw the on Ancestry.com because my cousin. Well, I used to have an account on there. I probably need to renew it now because my cousin that was running everything is deceased. But I actually saw the 1910 census with my grandfather and his mother, my great grandmother, and my great grandfather. And let's just tell you how ignorant people were back then. So my great grandmother was French, from the French Caribbean. Okay, so instead of putting her name on the census, I swear to God, it says her name is Frenchie. It says Frenchie. That's what it says, Frenchie. Okay, we have corrected that through Ancestry.com and put what her real name was. But they had Frenchie on the census in 1910. So do you guys understand why I'm talking about when I know you guys are when we're talking about the census and everything and everyone needed to fill out the census and do that stuff now, but 100 years from now, somebody, a descendant of yours, is going to be looking back at their history. And if and that's one of the ways that people are able to find their ancestors through the census. Nightbot got you. I'm gonna have to. You know what? Let me do this. Nightbot is on it. Nightbot, stop it. Okay, let me. Nightbot, why are you doing this? Nightbot is in here acting a fool. And he timed her out. Sorry, Sora. Nightbot is twerking in my damn chat again tonight, y'all. Nightbot ain't been in my chat for 2 days, for the last several times that I've been on. And tonight, Nightbot is twerking in the chat. Nightbot is twerking in the chat again tonight. Nightbot, if you do not behave, I am going to. Okay. Well, Elise, Nightbot won't be able to get you anymore. Let me get you. Here you go. Yeah, I made you a moderator, Elise. Nightbot is twerking in my freaking chat. And you guys, I have gone in there 3 times. 3 times I've gone in there on Nightbot and told it to not time out people for emojis. Nightbot is ignoring me. I'm gonna have to go in there and and redo the rules again. Nightbot is supposed to tell everybody hi when they come in. Nightbot doesn't say hi to nobody. Rude ass. I'm telling you, Nightbot does what Nightbot wants to do in my chat. Nightbot comes in the chat and twerks. Nightbot don't say hi to nobody. Nightbot just comes in and times folk out. And if I was doing a chat where I was just displaying the stuff, and I wasn't talking, that'd be fine. When I did the 3-hour chat and we weren't even talking, we were just, I wasn't talking, I was just playing my videos. Nightbot barely came into my chat. Barely came in. But tonight Nightbot's twerking. Okay, Nightbot, you must want me to get off now. So I'm gonna get off. I'm gonna come on camera for you guys before I get off of here. Y'all, here comes King David. Here he comes. No, you sit down. You sit down before I come on camera. You sit down first. All right, so I'm gonna come on camera. You gotta look at the camera. See, look at the camera. Say hi.
Say hi.
Okay.
Huh.
He came on to say hi to y'all.
David.
Y'all, I promise y'all, I'm taking these braids out. They're coming out between now and tomorrow, I think. Because Thursday, I'm probably not going to come on. I am coming on tomorrow night because the debate's tomorrow night. But Thursday, I'm probably not going to come on because it is my man's birthday. And I told y'all, he is sick of me on YouTube. He is sick of me on YouTube, but he knows I'm grinding for these freaking 4,000 hours. Speaking of, some folks got their channels snatched. Some people got their channels snatched down. And I heard that they were buying subscribers and views. I'm not buying any subscribers. I'm not buying any views. I'm gonna get all of mine legitimately. So when y'all see me popping up and doing random lives at random times, just understand I'm on one. But if you want to help me out, you can always run one of my playlists. I have several out there for you. Anyway, guys, I will be back on tomorrow because we got a debate tomorrow, y'all. We got a debate tomorrow. I'm excited about it. Anyway, until then, I offer you guys a peace and blessings from the West Side. I will see you guys. Bye, everybody. Yeah, still got that broken nail. It's going to get fixed this weekend. But, until then, y'all going to see this Band-Aid. All right. Peace.